Greetings, lore seekers, and welcome back to another episode of the Lost Archives. More Star Wars Legends lore. So continuing with other Force groups, today I'm going to talk about the Kilian Rangers, a Force tradition that evolved on the planet Kilia 4, a planet in the unknown regions that was colonised roughly 1000 years before the Battle of Yavin. Unfortunately, this colony would lose contact with the wider galactic civilization, and also their advanced technology would eventually fail them, so they would resort to a more feudalistic society. The Rangers would swear an oath to protect the people of Kilia 4, and would also become the law enforcement and also hold up the tenets of justice and chivalry. Essentially, it's a little bit like a chivalric order but within the Star Wars galaxy. This has led many to speculate that while there were no Jedi with the original settlers, they based the order very much on what very little people knew of the Jedi Order amongst the colonists. To that end, the Rangers do not use lightsabers as their badge of office. Instead, they use a device known as a Xiang lance. Essentially, it is an ancient variant of a sporting blaster rifle with an affixed bayonet. This, in conjunction with a shield gauntlet, is used by the Rangers to A, remind them of their oath, and B, as their badge of office. Now, despite its relative age, the Xiang lance still was quite a powerful tool, which could fire about 100 shots per blaster pack before having to be replaced. It could also be used in RPG settings to be used as an attack of opportunity, either to fire a ranged shot or to make a melee attack. Considering that, the Kilian Rangers would also infuse these weapons with force powers that they could be used to parry lightsaber blows, but with enough repeated strikes the lightsaber could eventually cut through it. Though they could also use their shield gauntlet to parry the lightsaber blow and then get an attack on the Jedi or Sith that is attacking them, or whichever force group might be using the lightsaber. Which for that may have come in handy, I'll explain a little bit later in the video, but swiftly moving on. So recruitment to the Kilian Rangers usually happens around the period of adolescence or the beginning of puberty, where you are taken as a squire to one Kilian Ranger. Eventually, after finishing being the squire of one Ranger, you would be awarded the position of a Ranger yourself, getting your own lance and shield gauntlet, and then taking on your own squire. Eventually, you would aspire to be a Kilian Lord. These are roughly the same rank as a Jedi Master, usually having a similar skill set. So it goes like this: you have Padawan, Squire, Jedi Knight, Ranger, Master, Jedi Master, Kilian Lord. Typically, there's usually only about 5 members of the organisation at one time, with there being 2 Squires, 2 Rangers, and 1 Lord. Though during the period of time that the Kilian Rangers operated, these numbers could change quite drastically depending on how many Force-sensitive children were born, and those that were inducted into the Order. Though eventually this did lead to a schism within the Kilian Rangers, and the Kilian Renegades were also created, which was the dark side variant of this organisation. After this period, there'd be no more than 5 Rangers in operation at any one time, just to prevent the problems that another schism would bring. Unfortunately, it's not just the Jedi who seem to recreate the darkness within their own order, probably due to some of their bigoted beliefs, but that's an entirely video on its own. Now, the Kilians' main aspects of the Force involve using their Force powers to enhance their physical prowess, as well as deflect other incoming attacks and various things. They even used it to enhance their shield gauntlet to the point where they could even bat back at other targets, heavy repeating blaster fire. This is actually during the time of the Galactic Empire. The Kilia was eventually rediscovered, and well, Palpatine being Palpatine, I like to say he embraces his inner Daenerys, but I very much like to think it's Daenerys embracing her inner Palpatine of bend the knee or die. And so, yeah, Palpatine essentially sent a bunch of stormtroopers there to try and, resettle the planet, bring it back into the Imperial fold, and any Force group sensitives that were there were either, right, you got to bow down and become Inquisitors, or you're gonna die. Now, the Kilian Rangers did not like this idea, and they proved quite quickly that they were more than a match for the boys in white. Now, with the discovery that they could once again travel into the wider galaxy, not really much changed for the people of Kilia 4, but the Rangers found that they could traverse the galaxy if they wanted to. Some of them did actually resign their badges' office and seek to wander the galaxy and discover new things. Now, with the prospect of travel on an unknown planet, there would be new disciples arrive from other planets to be taught the ways of the Rangers. Unfortunately for these people, regardless of whatever age they would be there, they would have to A, become a squire, and B, they would only be accepted if there was currently an open spot within the Rangers, not wanting to have another schism like they did before. Anyway, this has been my video on the Kilian Rangers. My sources will be listed in the description as always. If you like what you heard, perhaps consider leaving me a like, maybe a comment. Perhaps if I'm missing any lore, you could also let me know, as I do like to hear where I maybe have room to improve. And if you haven't done so already, perhaps consider subscribing and maybe sharing this around if you think anyone else you know might be interested in this as well. As always guys, take care, have a good day, and may the Lawkeepers ever be in your favour. And in these interesting times, stay safe.